Well,
All right. Yo, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Boomer Mac here in our video. I'm with my boy David again. What's going on, David? How you doing today?
oh, not much, man. Same old, man. Ready to talk football.
Yep. So, guys, for you guys who don't know, this past Saturday started up week zero of college football. We had Nebraska and Illinois and UCLA, and I want to say they played Hawaii. Those are the only two games really worth mentioning to me. Those are only two big programs that really, those only four programs, or the big one with three programs. Don't really count Hawaii as a big of a program, but UCLA and Nebraska and Illinois, three Power Five schools. And starting off the weekend, I'm gonna touch on Nebraska real quick. Um, Nebraska and Illinois, that game was a joke. That Illinois is fucking a joke, and so is Nebraska. But
Mm.
Illinois ended out edging out the game. Honestly, I feel like Illinois was in control of the game most of the game. Martinez looked like why was that? If you don't know who Martinez is, David, that's Nebraska's starting quarterback.
Yeah, I know who he is, and trust me, it's not good. Not
Yeah,
good at all.
the thing is, Illinois beat them on their second string quarterback because their first string quarterback got hurt in the beginning of the game. It was this real sloppy play by both teams, honestly. I expected out of Illinois, but out of Nebraska, man, Scott Frost, after the run he had with UCF back in 2017, going undefeated, and then he goes to Nebraska. You know it's going to take time for him to get his players and stuff involved. And I don't know. I thought by now Nebraska would be a top 15 team, well respected. I thought by now Scott Frost would have that program in line like they used to be back when he played for him too. Um, it's just Nebraska ain't working out, and as an OU fan, seeing that we played them week three, and we renewed that rivalry for this year and next year, and it's such a big game to OU fans and Nebraska fans as a whole. I honestly see why now Scott Frost tried to back out that game. I don't know if you heard about it, but Nebraska back in Austin about around May or June, Scott Frost was trying to back out the OU game. He was trying to back out going to Norman this year, and I can see why now. Honestly, after the sports I just saw them put against Illinois.
Yeah, I mean, so if the head coach is trying to back out of the game, I mean, obviously that kind of tells you the level of confidence that he has that his players can even go in and even compete. Which I mean, it's Oklahoma, 5 stars, 4 stars everywhere. Nebraska is probably your 2, 3 stars. I mean, like it's gonna be a tough go either way it goes. But I mean, like at least as a power conference or whatever, you will at least try to you know stick your neck out there and see how you do. But to bitch out like that, that's not a good look.
Yeah, no, and then Illinois with Brett Bielema, whatever his name is, guy used to coach at Arkansas and he used to coach at Wisconsin. I think his name's Bill. I know. I'm not thinking. I know his last name's Bielema. I can't remember his first name. But I'm pretty sure it's Brett Bielema.
Yeah,
He,
yeah. He was the former Arkansas Razorbacks head coach.
yeah, and also he was a coach at Wisconsin before then. So for him to make that move back to the Big Ten, I guess I've always thought he was a good Big Ten coach. Even at Wisconsin, they were going to Rose Bowls all the time. They had I think Monty Ball was there, or whatever his name was, that running back, and James White, or
Yeah,
whatever. So I think those two guys were there when he was there. I think Russell Wilson might have been there when he was there. Maybe not, but I'm pretty sure
not
Russell Wilson.
100% sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
what.
he was a good Big Ten coach,
Yeah,
but not so much an SEC coach. SEC, it was a tough go, especially when he was at Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't have the best talent, but I mean that dude couldn't string together shit at Arkansas.
oh no, he was awful at Arkansas. But I mean, to be fair though, not many coaches lately have had much success at Arkansas. I mean, it looks like Sam Pittman's giving his best try after last year. He got him some wins, and we'll see this year if Arkansas makes the next step like they did last year. Um, so yeah, so let's recapping that UCLA game. We'll talk a little bit about the UCLA game with Hawaii. UCLA looked pretty damn good, honestly, against Hawaii. They did. It was Hawaii, granted, but they did what they were supposed to do. They beat the brakes off them like they're supposed to. And let's be honest, Chip Kelly has not had that amazing a run lately with UCLA. He had a great run at Oregon, and he had a little stink in the NFL. But with UCLA, he does not look like the old Chip Kelly that we're used to. And for him to actually have some success here in the first game of the year against Hawaii, beat the brakes out of Hawaii, um, it was honestly pretty cool to see. Their defense looked really good, honestly. Granted, like I said, it's Hawaii, but the D line made a lot of plays. The secondary looked damn good. The secondary looked really good,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. DTR, their starting quarterback out of Bishop Gorman, he was a 4-star kid. He overthrew some balls, but he didn't look too bad at all. And the running game, the O line looked really well for UCLA. And honestly, if I'm a UCLA fan, this is what I want to see before we go against LSU next week. If I'm a UCLA fan, because they bring the Tigers into the Rose Bowl Stadium next week or this Saturday actually, and the LSU team, I could either see them going. I could see them win the West, or I can see them coming, with another 5-win season. They're such a 50-50 team with me right now.
Mhm.
We'll see what kind of LSU team we get. What do you think about the game this Saturday with the UCLA and LSU, David?
Well, so with Chip Kelly, um, he has a system, and everybody knows this. Chip Kelly runs a very unique system. So it was going to take time when he went to UCLA to get kids that was going to run his system, and not only run his system, buy into the system. That's what a lot of people don't understand about when somebody has to come in and you have to completely change the whole culture around. Is you never get 100% buy-in. Okay, at best you hope for 60-70% buy-in, and then after that, man, you just have to start cleaning house. You have to come in and start letting people know, like, hey man, we're gonna go ahead and pull your scholarship, and we're gonna give that money to somebody else. And now it seems like, Chip Kelly, he might have his people in there. He might have the kids that he's recruited, like the kid from Bishop Gordon.
Yep.
That's a very good football program. I'm pretty sure that's a kid that he went out and recruited and said, hey, I need him so I can run my offense, right? And so
Yep.
it's just getting buy-in. But at the same time, LSU is kind of in the same boat. LSU doesn't have the horses that they had a few years ago because all of them went to the NFL.
Mhm.
So LSU is kind of in a rebuild phase. But again, it's LSU and it's the SEC coming to town. So I got to go with LSU. I think LSU will take them. But if we're seeing what Chip Kelly from Oregon, it may be a tough game for him. But then again, you got to understand LSU is not what LSU was a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. My pick, I'm going to go with UCLA. I love what I saw now at Hawaii. Now, I'm not saying it's for sure thing UCLA's going to win. No, I'm kind of going off a limb here and kind of taking a little risky little bit here with UCLA. But I really like what I saw of their defense. I really do. I really like their secondary was playing really well. I mean, and honestly, with LSU, there's going to be a lot of question marks on that offense again.
Wow.
The running back room, last I heard, was really banged up. They're starting to get back healthy again, but you got to knock the rust off. And that D line I saw at UCLA, I mean, that's going to be a hard D line. It looked like to knock the rust off. And granted, like I said, yes, it was Hawaii, but man, UCLA, I saw a lot of heart and a lot of good physical play out of them, and I'm really excited to see what they do against LSU this Saturday. So I'm gonna go UCLA. I think it's gonna come down to a wire. I wouldn't be surprised though, depending on what LSU team we see. I wouldn't if we see the LSU team that I know they can beat in the ceiling. I know they can get it. I could easily see UCLA hanging in there for the first half and LSU pulling away in the second half. But seeing how I think this LSU, a lot of new guys. They have some experience turning back from last year, but I think at the end of the day, this isn't the same LSU team that we saw in 2019. I think they will improve from 2020, but I just don't know if they're at that time, that ceiling where they can make a run in the West and be the second or third best team. I don't even think they'll be the third best team in the West this year. So yeah, I'm gonna go UCLA. I say UCLA wins by 10. Honestly, I think that's after what I really like what I saw of them. So, David, let's go ahead and dive into Alliance. I know that's probably what a lot of people want to talk about and want to hear about. So you guys don't know, the Pac-12, Big Ten, ACC made an agreement, a verbal agreement, not even a paper agreement, not even no type of document or anything, a verbal agreement basically saying that we will lock arms and do a scheduling alliance, and we'll agree on when they say they agree, like kind of like with the college football, when they say they're going to agree on topics and stuff, I think they're basically talking about the college football playoff expansion. That's really what they're kind of locking arms with on. Honestly, if I'm gonna be real with you, this is the biggest bullshit I've seen in a while. This is so stupid. I mean, I get you had to do something if you use conferences, since the OU and Texas are leaving to go join the SEC. But what the hell is this? Like, what does this accomplish? You just you just look each other in the eye and shake hands and just hope for the best. That's basically what I got out of this when I watched the whole thing when it went down on TV when I was watching the live stream. That's basically what I got out of this was we locked arms.
Man, dude, this whole thing is a nothing burger. Okay. And let's break it down why. We've said this before. Every other conference has to catch up to what the SEC is doing. Okay. Pretty much the SEC is going to run the NCAA. Okay. So instead of coming up with something that would be fruitful long term, they came up with some kind of short, quick band-aid to stop the bleeding. And it does nothing. All this alliance is just saying, hey, we'll be in cahoots with each other, what one conference wants, hey, I'll back you, I'll support you if you support me. That's all it is. I mean, so you have three conferences that are trying to team up just to go against the SEC. That's pretty much all it is. I mean, because the SEC is running the NCAA. I mean, their schedules are already made up for the next couple of years, right? I mean, you have your own conference games you have to play. Yeah, you may see some kind of cross and mingling. Hey, the ACC will play a Big Ten school or a Pac-12, but I mean, other than that, I mean, that's really all it is. Like, it's a huge nothing burger. They thought that it was really going to. They thought that it was going to stick it to the SEC. It's not. I mean, I don't see what this is supposed to do, really.
Yeah, no, this is honestly stupid. And the funniest part about all this is, like, a couple hours after that whole meetup thing went down, like 3 hours later, I get a notification: USC agrees to face LSU in Las Vegas in 2024. Where the hell is the line setting that? That's an SEC school right there that the Pac-12 school doesn't make an agreement to play against. Only 20 in Las Vegas 2024. Where the hell's the line set? Where do I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what this is. And I guess maybe it's for more of the playoff expansion, because I know. Well, honestly, I don't even know now about that, because now I'm hearing that
it's in trouble. It's in trouble.
I'm hearing now that at first the Pac-12 won nothing, which I don't understand. That if I'm the Pac-12, I am for this 100%. You can't even get a team in right now with 4. So why would you even think about not even going expanding? That makes no sense to me. The last team you had in was Oregon. Granted, they won a playoff game, but since then, and I guess they had Washington in there too one year. So you have 2 teams in there, but look how long the playoffs have been around. Yeah, the Big 12, granted, it's only OU. The Big 12 has had more appearances in the playoffs than you have. And my thing is, why would you not want to expand it? That makes zero sense. I get you want to stick it to the SEC. If that's your way of sticking it to the SEC, I'm sorry to tell you, I guarantee you, this is a 14 playoff.
Bad job.
Yeah, this is a 14 playoff by the time OU and Texas get to SEC. If there's a 1-loss OU and an undefeated Alabama, and let's say that Alabama team gets in, and it comes down to a 1-loss Oklahoma in the SEC that ran the SEC gauntlet, they call it a gauntlet. I still to this day think the SEC kind of overhypes that a little bit, because I in the SEC schedule, you don't play a Bama, a Florida, a Georgia, a LSU all in 1 year. You don't do that. That doesn't happen. You get maybe a Bama, then you'll probably get like a Florida from the East, and then you play an A&M. It's still a hard schedule, but for these SEC fans that keep saying when OU and Texas come over, they're going to face LSU, Bama, Florida, Georgia, and who else is in that? Who else? South Carolina, and all these other teams. Because I think South Carolina by now, I think Sam Beamer's gonna pull South Carolina together by that time. I think that'd be pretty well respected.
And don't forget Tennessee. Don't forget Ole Miss.
Auburn.
Auburn. Those are programs that are really turning things around.
Yeah, their
coaching staffs in there too.
And my point is with that is that the SEC, you're not facing all those teams in 1 year. You're going to get a break where some schools in the SEC will have a really hard schedule. Some schools in the SEC will have a little bit easier schedule than most. So what I'm saying is basically for the SEC, this is more to the SEC fans now that are saying that stupid shit. You're not going to face the whole top-heavy SEC in one schedule. I'm sorry to tell you it's not going to happen. But let's tell you about the playoffs. So like I said, with undefeated Alabama and one-loss OU, let's say Oklahoma let's just say for argument purposes, Alabama goes to the East like they're planning on doing, like you've been saying. Alabama and Auburn move to the East. Oklahoma, Texas take over in the West. Let's say Oklahoma wins out the West. Bama wins out the East. It's a very close game in the SEC championship. It comes down to a one-possession game. So Bama wins. They're in the playoff. They're 1 seed. Then you have Bama, Clemson, and Ohio State. Those are 3 teams. Now it comes down to a one-loss OU. And I'm sorry, I don't see a Pac-12 team running the gauntlet, or not a gauntlet, running the schedule of the Pac-12. And the Pac-12 has an easy conference right now, let's be honest, besides maybe Oregon and USC and Washington. But Washington, I think they're mid-tier. Let's say it comes down to a one-loss Oregon Pac-12 champion and a one-loss OU that just played in the SEC championship and ran a tough schedule and one possession loss to Alabama. I am picking OU every time. The brands are not comparable. Not to mention, you played a really tough schedule in the SEC, and depending on what you schedule in the non-conference, and then you just played in the SEC championship and almost beat the number 1 team in a one-possession ball game in the conference championship. I'm sorry, I'm picking OU every time. Get over it. So I don't understand where the Pac-12 gets this. We need to stay at 14 for now. That makes no sense. I don't know how you feel about it, David, but
yeah, it's no secret that those people on that side of the country, they got a special way of thinking. They kind of think a little bit more emotionally than logic, right? So I mean, because there's no logic behind it at all, and they have to know that if it can't even if it came down to a 2-loss team, let's say you got somebody like Texas A&M, who has 2 losses or whatever, they'll still get in over, UCLA, Oregon, all those teams over there. They're still getting in over them because, again, you're playing in the SEC. That's why. So that whole thing is just, I mean, again, get your head out your ass.
Yeah, I just don't understand it, honestly. It makes no sense to me that how the Pac-12 is trying to pull that narrative. This makes no sense to me. It sounds stupid. If I'm the Pac-12, I am screaming and hollering for a 12-team playoff. Now, if I'm the Big Ten or someone, I probably don't matter.
People to get in.
Exactly. You have more of a chance to get a Pac-12 team in, and that's more money for the conference. So at the end of the day, I feel like, and now that I'm here, I'm hearing more and more. I'm hearing now the Pac-12 wants a 12-team playoff. I heard that they're for it. I'm here. We won't know about this 12-team playoff until they talk about it. And they're supposed to talk about, I think, sometime in October or something like that. They're having a meeting about it. At the end of the day, I think it ends up passing because I think the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and the ACC are going to want a 12-team playoff because they want to put more teams in. Granted, I already know the SEC's for it. You tell me you get a chance to have 4 teams or 5 teams in a 12-team playoff in one conference. You know the SEC's for it. That's way more. That's so much money making their pocket. I know the SEC's for it, but I just don't understand the Pac-12's logic in that. So with the Lions things, and we'll go back to the Lions thing and not enough about the playoff. That's the only thing I really can see them making this Lions for. It's just for the playoffs and to have an agreement. So let's say they all come to agreement that they don't want to do a 12-team playoff, they can out the SEC. And that's the only reason I can think. But now I'm hearing that the law of the commissioners and the athletic directors are for a 12-team playoffs in those other conferences. So I really don't understand. Now I don't know if that's just he say, she say type of stuff now. Maybe they're still not for it in the Pac-12. But the things I'm reading, I'm hearing they're kind of slowly changing their mind. Again, back to going to 12 teams. So I just don't understand this. This is the most confusing agreement I've ever seen in my life. It makes no sense at all. I just don't understand, man. I mean, I don't know if you can make sense of it. I can't.
Again, I think it's solely hey, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Hey, when I lobby for something, hey, you back me, and I'll do the same for you. Because again, we all know the SEC is going to run the NCAA football scene until they get ready to just hang it up. Okay, which that's going to be never. Okay, so this alliance is so basically you have the three going against the one.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I think it's
So when it comes to the negotiating table, whatever the the ACC wants, they're hoping that the Pac-12 is going to back them, and they're hoping that the Big Ten is going to back them, and so they can all go against the SEC. I personally, I don't think it's going to work because I mean the SEC is not going to bring forth anything that's dumb or that's going to hurt the football or anything like that.
that's good. Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Is hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Hey, when you want something, I'll back you, you back me. That's all this is.
I mean, and the reason why it makes no sense to me is because it's not a paper agreement. It's no signed documents or anything stating that this is an agreement. It's just shaking hands and saying, "Hey, I trust your word if you trust mine." Like I said, I'm sorry, whoever's
And
watching.
that's all it is because trust me, the moment there's something on the table that's better for the Big Ten over the SEC or over this bullshit alliance, they're taking it.
And then that's
Ain't no fucking agreement. It's just a verbal agreement. That's why there's no paper involved.
And I get that, there's probably I get why there's not a paper agreement because at that point, let's say Michigan gets an offer from the SEC, and there's a contract that the three conferences sign. At that point, from just reading and just knowing some stuff, the Michigan's lawyers have a chance to get in a loophole in the contract and get Michigan out the Big Ten contract without paying any type of debts because they made an agreement with the other three conferences that doesn't involve Michigan, and I guarantee their lawyers can find a loophole in the contract with with those two contracts being involved. So I get why they didn't sign I get why they're not doing paper contract because they don't want other schools that want probably leave and try to do something else, getting that loophole of a chance of maybe getting lawyers involved and finding a way out the contract they're in now. I can understand why they're not doing it, why they're not doing a paper contract, but still, I'm sorry for who's watching this video, and I know it sounds like I'm all over the place, but and I have notes. And I'm looking at my notes right now. It's just I'm so confused by it. It just makes literally no sense why they did this. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's fucking stupid. That's what I'm getting. It's stupid. It's dumb. It does nothing really at the end of the day. At the end of the day, whatever the SEC wants to do, the SEC is going to do. They got ESPN in their back pocket. We all see it now. We all know ESPN's in the SEC's back pocket. And if statements from people that are around the Texas program and work for the Texas program saying that ESPN already said that they will use the rest of the Longhorn Network money that they owe Texas, which is like 170 million, and they use that money to bail out Oklahoma and Texas. If that's not having the ESPN in your back pocket, I don't know what is. So at the end of the day, whatever type of stupid little verbal agreement they want to make, it doesn't matter. The ESPN is now based to me like the new NCAA. They run college football. What they want to happen is going to happen. So at the end of the day, is what it is. That's my last take on it. David, you got any last takes on this this alliance stupid shit?
No, it's still early on. There's more stuff that can come out here in the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks. Again, I think initial reaction, this is a big nothing burger for me and Mason and most of everybody else out there that follows college football. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the Big 12. Okay, Big 12, they're trying to make some moves, and I think they're trying to make some moves to keep the Big 12 alive, which they kind of got to right now because with them losing Oklahoma and Texas, they're hurting, and they're hurting bad. So, Mason, what you got? On the Big 12.
So here's the Big 8. Excuse me, I'm not even calling the Big 12 until they fucking got in.
Is it the Big 8 right now?
We'll call it a Big 8. So with the Big 8, I guess we'll call it Big 12 now since OU and Texas are still in there as of today. So the Big 12. So here's my thing about the Big 12. If I'm these 8 schools, and I know that this is coming to an end, and I know there's serious decision and talks about reaching out to BYU, which BYU is I think would be a great addition. They have a 60,000 plus stadium. Their football program is really good. They have a very strong alumni base out of Utah because I'm pretty sure their school's located in Utah.
Yeah.
BYU has a very strong alumni base, have a very strong fan base. Their fans travel pretty well, from my understanding. BYU is a great addition. I think that'd be a great addition. But after BYU, who do you go after? Cincinnati? So I'm sorry to tell everybody, but the state of Ohio is ran by the Buckeyes. So you're not really getting much out of that market. So, I mean, yes, they have a pretty good football program right now. But if you're talking about money-wise, which this is all, at the end of the day, all this is about is money. You're not getting much out of Cincinnati. Like I said, the state of Ohio is ran by the Buckeyes. Boise State. Yes, they are a great they're a great group of 5 program. Always have been. I'm pretty sure they are, as this decade, they're the most winningest program, I think, in Division I college football. I'm pretty sure last time I looked. But granted, it's group of 5 schools, but still win a lot of ball games. And they beat some Power 5 teams too along the way. But at the end of the day, I mean, their stadium only sits 40,000 people. 40.
That's not
40,000. That's not, and not to mention, so that tells me right there, the money is not coming in as fast as they like, or they've been expanding that stadium for a long time. And not to mention, they're located in Idaho. What the hell's in Idaho? What, the potato? What's in Idaho? So you're not.
Boise is not the Boise of old. Okay, we're not talking about the same Boise that beat Oklahoma with the Statue of Liberty. Okay, we're not. This is not the same Boise. Okay, with some of these teams, I kind of feel like they're fillers. Okay, they get you some decent competition here and there, but it almost feels like you just need them just as fillers, like Boise. The Boise brand is pretty cool. The Boise brand. Cincinnati, you get good football with Cincinnati. Over the last 4 or 5 years, Cincinnati has been playing good football. BYU, I think they automatically shoot up to the top of the conference, bringing them in. UCF, you have some seasons when UCF goes undefeated. So, they play good football. And, there's other mentions. Houston, talking about bringing Houston in, talking about bringing Memphis, schools like that. A lot of those schools, they play good football.
So, and I hate talking about Boise State because every single time, like you said, that Statue of Liberty playing in the Fiesta Bowl back in, I want to say 07, comes in my mind. So I hate talking about Boise State because it's always in the back of my mind when I bring them up. But nonetheless, I think BYU is probably the best option. And I get they got to add more teams, but I'm gonna put this out here right now for any team, for any fan that's a fan of the Big 8 that's left in the Big 12, whether you're a Baylor fan, Kansas State fan, Oklahoma State fan, whatever, or West Virginia fan. I'm telling you right now, you better hope that the ACC does not offer West Virginia, or the Big Ten does not come down and offer Iowa State or Kansas. Or I know the Pac-12 said that they don't plan on expanding out anytime soon. That's just right now. They could easily change their mind by January, by the end of football season. Say, you know what? We actually have changed our minds. We're open to expansion. And you better hope the Pac-12 does not come out looking at Oklahoma State and let's say Kansas State, because apparently there's a rumor saying that Oklahoma State. Yeah, or BYU. So at that point, you are screwed. If you're like Baylor or TCU or Texas Tech, you are screwed at that point because because I'm telling you, if those schools get an offer, they are not thinking for a second. Because as of right now, the Big 12 is the biggest question mark in college football. No one knows what the future holds. So if you tell me that Oklahoma State gets a chance to go to the Pac-12 or the Big 10 and has stability in a conference, they were taking that because it's for their best. At the end of the day, I know a lot of these, and it's mainly because I see this a lot more from Baylor fans and TCU fans and stuff on the internet saying, we need to lock arms. We need to stay strong so we can make OU take. I'm sorry to tell you all this. At the end of the day, it's every man for himself. If you get an offer to leave the conference, and I'm an athletic director for Oklahoma State or West Virginia, I am taking it. I am more about my university. I could care less about Texas Tech and their fan base that throws tortillas at our players on the field. I can give an F less about you. I'm trying not to curse as much. I can care less about you. I am going to the ACC where I'm supposed to get to begin with and play my rivals, Pittsburgh and all them, and saying, screw y'all. Y'all have fun in the mystery ship and tell me how it feels to be stranded and having to be a group of 5 team. I'm taking the Power 5 offer I get. I don't know how you feel about that, Dave.
Well, okay, so this is kind of how I feel. Um, the Big 12 needs BYU. Okay, BYU doesn't need Big 12. Big 12 needs BYU. Okay, and here's why. Okay, when some of these other teams start getting poached, and it's going to happen. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Baylor, West Virginia. You gotta strengthen that conference, and you gotta do it right effing now. Okay, you cannot wait, because I'm telling you, out of those teams, one of these other conferences is going to start poaching them very, very, very soon. Let's say Baylor goes out there and lights it up. Okay, they're going to be a commodity. Okay, we already know BYU can go. Hey, they can go to the Pac-12 and they can just merge with them. Okay, so I think who's ever in charge of the Big 12, okay, he needs to be sending out signals to these other schools that are still left and be like, hey, we're on life support. Let's just be honest, okay? He just needs to be honest, be realistic with them. Be like, hey, man, a BYU, we need to bring them into the conference, because guess what? BYU is going to get you good football.
Another thing
BYU got a good fan base.
Oh, they got
BYU has a loyal fan base, okay? So,
and
they need them.
They need him bad. And here's the thing, Ball Bowlesby, he's an idiot. I'm gonna put it out there right now. I don't have if I'm the Baylor or TCU or Texas Tech, because I feel like those three schools and somewhat Kansas State, even though I heard some Pac-12 rumors with them, but we'll just go with those three schools for now. They're not getting much looks at. I know at first there's some talk about Pac-12 and Texas Tech, but from what I heard now, that was never a thing. So, and I know Baylor fan, and I keep picking on Baylor fans because Baylor fans, they say a lot of stupid shit. They do. They really do. And it's kind of amazing. But and I hate Baylor, but Baylor is respectful they're respectful athletics. I will say that. And they keep saying, well, we won a national championship in basketball. If I'm the Pac-12, you think I really care about your basketball program that's won one national championship in the last how many years? It's not like you're Kansas and you're always going to the Sweet 16. You're always going to Final Four. You're not getting that out of Baylor every year. I'm sorry. Until they can prove that, even then, basketball does not make near the money as football. And I'm sorry to tell you, Baylor football is not going to come back to where they were with Art Briles. They're not. And if it does, I'll be amazed. I just don't see it happen anytime soon. So for you Baylor fans that think that because you have a really good basketball program now, you do, and also not to mention your football program, y'all think that they have a good chance of going on the rise? No. So for Baylor fans that think that they won't get left out the Power 5 conversation, you will. So your best bet is for BYU to join the Big 12, and you better start praying to Bob Bowlesby's feet. Oklahoma State. I think the Pokes are fine. I think they can ride this out as long as they want. They're going to get a Power 5 offer eventually. I'm sorry. Oklahoma State's athletic program is, like I've said before, and I hate the Pokes, but it's very, very respectful. I mean, look at their football program. They are top 25 year in, year out. Study. They don't fall out. And if they do, it's really unusual. So they're around that 20 to 10 range. And sometimes they'll sneak into that top 8 range sometimes when they're having a really good year at Mike Gundy. Iowa State, I don't know. They'll go as far as Matt Campbell stays. If Matt Campbell plans on being a life for Iowa State, they will have a long, respectful football program. If Matt Campbell one day gets a call from Michigan and he leaves to go to Michigan, Iowa State is screwed. As long as they got Matt Campbell, they'll be respectful. I will say that. But elsewhere, Iowa State used to be pretty damn good at basketball. That's fell off now. Iowa State doesn't have much to offer you. And if I'm the Big Ten, do I really want to take the risk of Matt Campbell leaving Iowa State, going back to the dumpster fire they were? Granted, it makes sense to add a mix Iowa and Iowa State's rivalry, but at the end of the day, you can still play that with Iowa State in the Group 5 school.
With them being in the conference.
Yeah, so you can still you're not really getting much out of that. Let's look at Kansas State. Since Snyder left, Kansas State I know. I'm like grilled in the comments from other Big 12 fans saying, "Well, they beat you the last 2 years." Yes, they have. I will say they have beat us the last 2 years, and congratulations to Kansas State. You beat us twice in a row, 2 times in a row, but
That was your national championship.
you haven't had nothing to show for
K-State being Oklahoma is your national championship.
that's championship, and that's sad. So, and you haven't won the Big 12 championship once doing that. So it doesn't matter, okay? And I swear to God, if we listen to him again this year, I will flip shit. So, Kansas State, apparently Pac-12 had still a little bit of interest in them with Oklahoma State. Cool. Don't know why, but cool, they have. West Virginia, I think that's the second most attractive athletic program in the Big 12, behind the Pokes. ACC, what the hell are you doing? Get West Virginia, add Notre Dame. There's your two. You add a blue blood, and you add a pretty damn good athletic program, and not to mention West Virginia has a very, very strong alumni fan base, and they have very, very loyal fans that travel a lot of games, and hell, their fan base travels to Norman, all the way down to Oklahoma to watch them sometimes get their ass stomped. So, or not stomped, but lose. I wouldn't say that. I have a lot of respect for Morgantown.
Far.
Yeah, so I mean, their fan base is far and beyond. After that, Baylor. I already talked about Baylor. The only school I feel bad for in this situation is TCU. I feel like TCU has shown they can compete with the big boys. Because for a while there, they were not a Power 5 school. They were a Group of 5 school. They keep bouncing back between conferences. And it's happened to them again. And they have shown they can compete. They've shown they can play. Back in 2014, I still think they were the best team in college football, and I think they should have never got hoed out their spot. They should have been in the playoffs with Boykin and all them, and Gary Patterson. And I think they would have won the playoffs if they got in. So TCU has shown they can compete on certain years, and for a while they were consistently top 25, and I think this year they'll be top 15. I think they're that good this year. So,
with the TCU argument, okay, is you got to be real careful with TCU, because if you surround TCU with a bunch of lower talent, unfortunately, I think TCU will dumb itself down to the level of talent that's in that conference, because kids were going to TCU to play against Texas, to play against Oklahoma and the big boys, okay? If you have no big boys in there, I'm sorry, their recruiting is going to fall off, and it's going to fall off hard and big time, because TCU gets some really, really damn good players, okay? Yeah. So that's why I say, that conference needs to be bringing in people like a BYU. You need to be you have to bring them in there for recruiting and to keep your damn conference. Let's be honest.
So, and about the whole recruiting at TCU, and if you're a Horned Frogs fan, you know this. I'm just kind of putting this out there. Other fans, like OU fans or Texas fans or Baylor fans, they don't know this. They have a 5-star running back in Zachary Evans as a sophomore, a 5-star. Literally a 5-star that a lot of schools wanted. He was committed to Georgia at one point, but something didn't work out with Georgia and them, and Georgia didn't work the scholarship for him. I mean, he was wanted by all the schools. So you got him. They got transfer from OU, Chandler Morris, who was a pretty high-ranked quarterback. Granted, he transferred, but he liked TCU enough where it was attractive enough to him to transfer. So TCU gets players. They have some type, their brand, they have a brand. And I agree with you. They go to the American or they go to the MAC or some stupid shit like that. Their recruiting falls off. It falls off.
Ain't no 5-star going there. Not at that point, they're not.
And at that point, and TCU can't. Everybody knows this. TCU can't afford to go independent. They can't do it. So they don't have to join a group of 5 or a Power 5. And I just don't know who takes them. I really don't. I don't know. ACC wouldn't take them unless they want to go. ACC wouldn't take them. Their best hope is the Pac-12. I don't even see the Big Ten taking them because the Big Ten's going to be looking at Iowa State and Kansas. And I'm sorry. I know Kansas fans are saying, "Oh, basketball." Again, your basketball program, yes, is a blue blood, but how much money does that really generate towards the conference? Not as much as you think. It does bring some money, but not as much as you think. Honestly, I think TCU should get in the Big Ten over Kansas. I know they have some rules and all that with the whatever you call it, association, but I think Big Ten can bend the rules a little bit for TCU. Honestly, they can't go to the Pac-12 because the Pac-12 has a problem with the religion schools. Apparently, don't know the whole story behind that, but apparently they're not really big into religion schools. So that's why Baylor and TCU and BYU probably won't get the offer from the Pac-12. Um, so yeah, guys. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for TCU. It sucks. It's boring. It's bullshit. I know if you're a TCU fan, it sucks, but it is what it is. Texas Tech. Honestly, screw you. Honestly, that's how I feel about Texas Tech. Screw you. I get tired of seeing us flying through from the stands and on the field to our players. It's fucking bullshit. Stop doing that shit. It's fucking stupid. I don't know why they think that's so cool. It's not. It's stupid. The only thing cool that anyone originated in the Big 12 is the Pokes beating the damn side of the wall with a paddle, even though it looks stupid. It sounds pretty cool. And I fucking hate it, but still, it is still pretty cool. So that's the only thing cool. Throwing tortillas on the field is not cool, Texas Tech. Stop it. It's not cool. I fucking hate Texas Tech for that shit. Other than that, I mean, yeah, your best host is the BYU. And maybe Houston. I mean, Houston does have a really good TV market, but at that point, you have what, 4 Texas schools in one conference? How much money are you really making off of that then at that point? Because that's 4 schools in one state. So I mean, I don't know if that's really that helpful. So yeah,
you're keeping a lot of the in-state recruits, but again, with the TV market, how good are you doing?
Let's be honest with the kids in Texas that recruits. If you're a high 4-star kid or a 5-star kid, just a 4-star kid in general, and you have OU in Texas and SEC, and they're knocking down your front door trying to get you to go there, are you really going to go to Houston or Baylor? Well, we played Baylor and TCU and Texas Tech in the same conference. You'll get to stay close to home. That's the only you get to stay home. That's the only argument they'll have. But then Texas can come up and say, hey, we're the Longhorns. We're right down the road. We're in the SEC. Or Oklahoma can say, hey, you're from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're closer. Norman's closer. Because if a lot of people don't know, I mean, if you don't know this, or I know you know this, but other people that watch this, Norman's closer to Dallas than Austin is. So you can easily come to Dallas-Fort Worth area and say, hey, we're right down the road. We play in the SEC. Your family can still watch you play. And also, not to mention, you play against Bama, you play against Georgia. And not to mention, Arkansas is right up the road, too. We play at Arkansas. Come on. I mean, I don't think
that recruiting pitch is going to be sick. Recruiting pitch is going to be sick.
Yeah, that's going to suck for A&M. Honestly, I think that kind of hurts A&M in the long run things. I think A&M will be fine, but that kind of sucks for A&M, the OU and Texas, to get to wear that SEC patch. So actually, let's go ahead and dive in this real quick, David. Clemson and Georgia this weekend. Who do you have?
Who and who?
Clemson and Georgia.
You say Clemson and Georgia.
Play this Saturday.
Who's the quarterback for Clemson right now?
DJ Underlew or whatever. He's a 5-star kid from St. Bosco. He's really good. He played against Notre Dame last year in the regular season, and he played against Boston College.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I really can see this going either way. It's just Georgia is rebuilding, and Clemson. You know, we're going to see how good is Clemson without Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this can go one or two ways. Either this kid that they got, he can come in and pick up right where they left off at. Mm-hmm. We're going to see how good is Dabo, how good is Clemson without Trevor Lawrence. You know, probably the best quarterback they've ever had. And Georgia, hey dude, it's Georgia. Georgia's going to show up and Georgia's going to play.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and go with I want to go with Georgia, but they have some injuries going in this game. They don't have Pickens, receiver. I don't know if he's playing. I heard that he's not playing. Last I heard, he's not playing. Darnell Washington, their tight end, it's like 6'8". He's a freak. He's not playing. Tyke Smith, apparently, from the transfer from West Virginia, who I think is a top 3 secondary guy in college football. He's not playing. I just don't know. And apparently JT Daniels, from all accounts I'm hearing from their fall camp, he's a little bit better than Jake Fromm, but if you want to beat Clemson, you gotta have someone that's a lot.
Yeah, you can't have a Jake Fromm type. Jake Fromm was he plays not to F up,
And
because clearly you haven't heard his name once since he went to the NFL because everybody knew what Jake Fromm was.
that backup.
So I do agree with that, but also like you got to think, it's Georgia. So if somebody's hurt and somebody's not playing, it's always hey, next guy up, next man up
They had a five.
mentality at a school that damn big. So I mean, man, it can go either way. Right now, I'm at a draw. I honestly can't call it because I mean we just don't know what those two schools are. I'm not giving Clemson the upside because Clemson lost a lot of fucking people and they don't have Trevor Lawrence. What is Clemson without Trevor Lawrence? Nobody knows right now. So
I will say this for Clemson. We got a little small taste of DJ and what he can do, a little small taste. So I'm going to read you off some stats. So Boston College, they won 34-28. Boston College is not an amazing school, but they have been on the come up a little bit in the ACC. So teams to run their money. I think even this year, I think they'll get some teams to run for their money. 134-28. He went 30 for 41. He had like a 73 completion percentage. It's pretty damn good. Had touchdowns. That's against Boston College. Now here's a game where I said, okay, this DJ kid may be the real deal. I already thought he was a real deal, even him coming out of St. Bosco out of California. I already knew he was a real deal. But this kind of reinsured that for me. So, they went in double overtime with Notre Dame last year. They won. They beat them at Notre Dame. He went 29 for 44 for a 65.9 completion percentage and had 2 touchdowns for 439 yards. I mean, he looked good against a pretty damn good Notre Dame team that year in 2020. I mean, I don't know where to go. I'm going to stay with Georgia. I'm going to pick Georgia. I just feel like Kirby's going to have them ready to play. I love what they have at receiver. I love what they have in the D-line. Yeah, I'm going to go. I want to say they still have that lead tackle at Georgia too. That Jordan, I think his name is Jordan Davis, or whatever. He's a big ass kid, big kid. I'm going Georgia. I think Georgia edges this out. I wouldn't be shocked if Clemson wins, but I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to stick with my original pick. I'm picking Georgia.
And that's fair, man. You can't go wrong with picking Georgia. Hey, I think Dabo is, he's one of those coaches that was extremely fortunate. That's like you having Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, on your roster. It's one of those things like you're just going to benefit. I mean, you're just going to eat, but what do you like when you don't have that player? I mean, and not only him, you lost your starting running back, so you don't even have him. So again, what are you going to be like? But hey, I mean, right now I'm still sticking at a draw. I mean, honestly, that game can go either way for me. I just can't call it right now.
Understandable. All right, so next big game we got here is some other pick 10 matchup. Thursday, you got Minnesota versus Ohio State. I know it looks like Ohio State. I know if you don't really watch Minnesota that much, you would say, oh, Ohio State's going to beat the doors off like they did last year. Okay, cool. But Ohio State is also replacing a lot. Besides the wide receiver core, they got a lot of questions in the secondary. They bring back a decent D-line. Their defense has a lot more question marks than I originally thought. From what I'm hearing is from doing research, they have a lot more question marks. CJ Stroud, the quarterback that's coming. Yes, he was a top 50 recruit. He's a new quarterback. He's a freshman quarterback. He's a sophomore quarterback. Or is he redshirt? I can't remember. He's one or two. But he's a brand new quarterback. He's a brand new starter. He hasn't had much time in his play at all. This is basically similar to a Spencer Rattler thing like last year. Granted, CJ Stroud had a lot longer of he had a spring camp, and Spencer didn't have a spring camp, and also he had a summer camp. He had a lot of summer training. Spencer didn't have a summer training. So he has that in his favor. I still think that he's going to have to settle in, and he's going to make some mistakes, some freshman mistakes still. like I said, I'm not sure if a Ohio State fan can please tell me if an Ohio State fan watch this. Can you tell me if he's a redshirt freshman or a sophomore this year? I want to say he's a redshirt, but he could be a sophomore. I'm pretty sure he's redshirt. So he's gonna make freshman mistakes. So David, who you got? I'm gonna go Ohio State. I think it stays close first quarter, and after that, Ohio State blows the door off Minnesota.
Yeah, so I do agree with that. I think Ohio State is going to win, but barely. I think Ohio State is going to squeak by. It's hard to beat a fucking team that has that many fucking 5 stars, that has that many 4 stars on their roster. At some point, those kids are going to come to play. Now, Ohio State, their defense is depleted. I mean, anybody on their defense from the last 2 seasons, they're gone. They're bye-bye. So they're replacing their whole defense. You're replacing Justin Fields. You're replacing their running backs, wide receivers. I mean, my gosh. I mean, it was so many holes on their team after this last draft. It's hard to think that they'll even go anywhere this year. But again, a football program like that can attract the type of talent that they got, you can never count them out. And we've seen this before. The teams like Minnesota, Iowa State, um, Indiana, they play Ohio State like that is their national championship game. But Ohio State just finds a way to barely squeak it out. Just like this past year with Ohio State and Indiana. Indiana took it to Ohio State. But I think in the end, it's just they just had a little bit more firepower, and that kind of got them over the edge. So that's how I think the game is going to go. I'm taking Ohio State.
I will say this for Ohio State. This 2021 recruiting class they had was crazy, was insane. Them and Alabama did some recruiting that we probably will not see for a while. Alabama still the number one recruiting class in the nation, but for a while there, for a long haul there, Ohio State was kicking ass and taking names in the recruiting trail. They have 7 stars total, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it might have been 8, but I'm pretty sure it's 7. I know Alabama and Ohio State ended up with the same amount of 5 stars. So we'll say both of them have 7 because I know that's the same amount. It was either 7 or 8. So we'll say 7. They bring in Quinn Ewers. He actually reclassified from Southlake and decided to reclassify the 2021 class. So you have another 5-star quarterback right behind CJ Stroud. And I think the kid's name is not Kyle McCord, or whatever his name is, the other guy, second string quarterback. Not to mention they bring in the number 2 D tackle, JT Tamalio, or whatever his name is. Someone, I'll say can help me pronounce that. You bring in a number 1 wide receiver, Emeka Ibuka. You got what's his name? Jake Sawyer, high-end defensive line kid, number 1. I won't say number 3 in position, number 1 in state in Ohio. Trayvon Henderson, the running back, he was a 5-star kid. Davion Jackson, I think he's an O lineman. The list goes on at 2021 because they have guys. It's just they're rebuilding it, and the talent's going to be there. Just if you're an Ohio State fan, or if you don't really pay that close attention to Ohio State or college football, just own your team, you're going to see Ohio State have to knock some rest off, or actually get the jitters out of their players and their young guys. So yeah, I think Ohio State. I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota keeps this close all the way up to the third quarter. But I think eventually Ohio State runs away with it. Next, Oklahoma Tulane, upset alert.
Oh man, dude, Tulane. Let me tell you.
Hey, prayers up to.
Don't sleep on Tulane.
Dude, yeah, I'm very scared. No,
don't sleep on Tulane.
All jokes aside, prayers to Louisiana. I know that hurricane's hitting. That sucks. Prayers out to everyone out there. If you have family out there, prayers to them. It sucks for Tulane. They got to go to Birmingham and practice. I know it sucks. I know they want to, because I'm pretty sure they're doing a grand opening of their stadium when they play us. We're going down to New Orleans to play them for the grand opening of their stadium. Sucks. Hopefully the game still continues to plan. We get to go down to New Orleans and play. I know a lot of OU fans bought tickets to that game. I really hope y'all get a chance to go. I really do. That would suck, man, if y'all don't be able to go and they cancel the game or if they change the game to Norman. I've heard that might be a possibility. I hope not. I hope, because that would suck for OU fans that paid, because a lot of OU fans paid money to go to that game, and I really, really feel bad for those fans that they don't get a chance to go to that game. So The only thing, and this is the only thing that I don't know if you saw this, David. Trey Bradford, the LSU transfer we got from this past offseason, has decided that he does not want to play at OU. So that leaves OU with only 2 scholarship running backs with Kennedy Brooks and Eric Gray. 2 scholarship running backs. That's it. That's all you have. That's all OU has right now. If there's a weakness.
Okay, and dude, okay. Hey, I have a solution for that. Okay.
Jeremiah Hall.
A, put a wide receiver back there.
So
B, put a linebacker back there, because I can guarantee you a lot of inside linebackers at some point they play running back.
So
okay, or spread that bitch out.
So here's the thing. All right, so there is options here. There is a lot of options for OU. OU has a lot of athletes, so it's not like you can't do it. It's just beforehand, before this happened, you really couldn't. You couldn't really spot a weakness. You really couldn't spot a weakness in OU. Now, there's a little weakness there. And it's not a big weakness, and I'm not really. And if you're an OU fan, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But it is something that creeps in the back of my mind. If, let's say, Lord forbid, one of those guys get hurt, that's a problem. You're down to 1 scholarship running back, and at that point, granted, you have Billy Bowman. Billy Bowman was a high 4-star kid out of Dayton Ryan, or Ryan Dayton, how you say the school, powerhouse high school program out there. Yeah, Billy Bowman. The kid was an athlete. Was recruited as an athlete. He plays nickel for us, the corner. He plays nickel. He's a freak. The kid's jacked, dude. And he's only a freak. The kid's jacked. He can play running back. He played running back before. He can play running back. You can play running back if we have to. You got Jeremiah Hall. You got the H-backs with Jeremiah Hall. Jeremiah Hall, we need to. We can feed him the ball. The weatherman, we call him the weatherman. I can't remember his name. He's a walk-on. He goes to school at OU to be a weather forecast guy. He looked good in the spring game. So maybe he might surprise some people and turn some heads and earn a scholarship. Who knows? But besides Tulane game, besides next week, because next week we play some random Division II school. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. And then after that, we play Nebraska. If we can get past these 3 schools, or I know we'll get past them, we just have to worry about getting to conference play. Because there's going to be a lot of pissed off teams, a lot of pissed off fan bases. And I really am scared that they might take some cheap shots at the running backs. They're going to know that OU's down 2 scholarship running backs, and they're going to take some cheap shots. Let's just be honest. Football is not a play fair game. There's going to be some cheap shots at Spencer, at the running backs, the wide receivers, in the Big 12 play. So if I'm Lincoln, and I trust Lincoln and the staff. I know they're going to figure this out. You got to have a game plan going to Big 12 conference play. You have to. They're going to take cheap shots at backs. Let's be honest. Granted, I've never heard really any serious injury problems ever with Eric Gray. Kennedy Brooks, not really. The only reason why he opted out last season was because of COVID. So it's just, you don't want to take that risk of being down 1 scholarship running back. It's something that you really don't want to play with. I wish Trey Bradford would have not done this. I'm not mad at the kid. I don't get mad at kids that do this. This is a big decision for them, even when they transfer. I don't do it on the recruiting trail. I don't do transfers. But at the same time, apparently he didn't want to leave LSU. Apparently his dad wanted him to go to Norman. So apparently his dad played a hand in this. That's what I'm hearing. And his parents want him to stay in Norman. At the end of the day, I know Trey Bradford would never watch this. If he does end up somehow seeing this, though, do what's best for you. But I wish you would have thought this through before you did this. Granted, this is not on him, really. I mean, it's not on him that we have this death problem running back. This is on Seth McGowan, who wanted to be a dumbass and wanted to be a wannabe thug. This is on him. This is on Mikey Henderson that wanted to follow. So you remember that case when Mikey Henderson, Seth McGowan, Trajan Bridges, 3 big-time recruits we had. One was a freshman, Seth McGowan, or actually 2 of them were freshmen, Mikey Henderson and Seth McGowan. And Trajan Bridges was out that 2019 class, was a high 4-star kid, almost was a 5-star. They got arrested for the whole robbery thing and all drug deal gone bad, basically. This is these kids' fault. This is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's on them. And I hope the best for them. I mean, every kid makes a mistake in life, and I hope the best. I hope that everything in court goes out well for them. I hope that they don't have to serve any time or anything like that, because that's just wrong. I don't waste time on nobody. But this falls on them. So any OU fan that wants to blame anybody for running back. And I get tired of OU fans blaming DeMarco Murray. Guys, this is not his. There's OU fans. There's OU fans out there blaming. They're blaming DeMarco Murray for this, guys. And they blame.
Why? Because he's not playing anymore. Because DeMarco Murray is not playing anymore. Is that why they want him to lace it up again?
Bro, DeMarco Murray has done an amazing job. Amazing job as a running back coach at OU, guys. Let's be honest. Oh, David, OU fans blame DeMarco Murray for not getting Kamar Wheaton in that 2021 class and him going to Alabama when we've been the leader the whole time. Guys, it was a COVID year. DeMarco Murray, this was his first time as a running back coach at OU, and he got thrown in the middle of COVID. He couldn't have official visits. He couldn't have in-house visits. He had to do Zoom calls, and he had to explain his way of coaching and what he wants out of Kamar Wheaton over a Zoom call. Guys, DeMarco Murray and Kamar, in all accounts, I made a YouTube video, so you can go on my channel and look. Kamar is a very difficult kid to get a hold of. He's very to himself. And like I said, I don't hate on the kid. I mean, he did the best for him. It's just he didn't talk to nobody. Even his own grandma didn't know. He was actually making plans to commit to OU, and then Nick Saban called him. And he didn't tell OU anything. He just didn't commit. He was supposed to commit in December, at a certain day on December, and he ended up not committing. He didn't even call OU and say, hey, man, I'm rethinking. He didn't even call him. So OU's like, okay, why is he not committing? Why would we not call yet? We already have the graphic made for him. Or he had a guy made an OU graphic, and he never put it out. And then 2 days later, he commits to Alabama. His own grandma didn't even know. So the kid kept it to himself. So that's not DeMarco Murray's fault. With the Steph McGowan and all that, guys, kids are going to do kids' things. They're going to do stupid shit. I wish they would never do anything that stupid, but they're going to. And I can mention, if you look what DeMarco Murray's been doing in recruiting trail lately, guys, we got Luke Brown. Luke Brown is a 5-star kid. He's listed as like a top 40 kid, but he was a 5-star. But by the end of the year, he's going to be a 5-star again. I don't know if y'all saw what he did against Duncanville when Marvin Day went to go play Duncanville this past Friday. The kid, the first play he touched the ball, went 70 yards for a touchdown. The kid's a freak. He calls himself a wide receiver running back. He's an all-purpose guy. He's speedy. He can play. He's a dude. The kid's he's gonna be a problem at OU with Lincoln and DeMarco. Not to mention, you also add in Gavin Sawchuk, high of like a top 50 running back, top 50 recruit overall, out of Colorado. Also, not to mention, you got Javante Barnes out of Nevada. Guys, I don't know if you're an OU fan, Javante Barnes already said that OU is the leader right now. So we can end up landing 3 running backs in one class, and all of them being top 100 players in the nation. Not in their position, but overall as recruits. DeMarco Murray is a great coach, and we're fine future-wise. Now they just need to figure out this problem, the two with the running back depth. I think over time we'll figure it out and we'll be fine. So any OU fan that's really sweating about it, I understand. But let the staff do what they do. Let Lincoln and DeMarco Murray do what they do, and let Lincoln especially do what he does with his offense, and we'll be fine. I got us beating to Tulane by a big margin. I think the defenses will come out. And apparently, Dave, believe it or not, in fall camp, a lot of people said the defense has been getting the best of the offense a little bit. And that's weird to say. That you don't hear that.
That should happen.
Yeah.
So let me give Oklahoma fans some hope here. Okay. You mentioned y'all got an H back, right?
We got Jeremiah Hall and Braden Willis.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember it. I mean, this had to been 6-7 years ago. LSU kind of ran into the same problem. LSU had some injuries, had some injuries and suspensions at the running back position. They had an H-back named Jacob Hester. Sorry. Jacob Hester was their H-back. They put him in at running back, and when I say this dude fucking feasted all season, okay? Because you got to remember, a lot of people that play H-back started off at tailback. A lot of people that play linebacker started off at running back. A lot of these athletes, when they come out of high school, they use them at multiple positions. Yep. I know people who play safety that started off at running back.
Yep.
I mean, y'all have too much talent around that team to be sweating that running back position. It will work itself out. It will be fine. If Lincoln Riley is worth what we think Lincoln Riley is worth, he will figure out some kind of way. There's options. Okay,
Not to
there's
mention,
plenty of options. It'll be fine.
I forgot about this. We got a linebacker named Shane Witter that runs like a 4.3. So, hey, that may be an
Yeah.
option. Lincoln, he's a mastermind. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Shane Witter might get back there one player or something, or try that out. Who knows? And for you guys who don't know, David is an OU fan. He's an OU fan. He paid attention a lot to OU. So he has a little bit. He has a lot of insight in OU football too, because he is an OU fan too. So
As much as Mason, but
yeah,
I keep track of it.
he keeps track of OU. So yeah. Next, we're going to talk about the Big Ten real quick. They got another big game Saturday with Penn State and Wisconsin. That's going to be a good ball game. I am a big believer in Wisconsin. I love
absolutely
Grant Mertz, or whatever that quarterback name is, that kid they have. That kid balled out last year in his first game. Last year, a lot of people didn't remember this. Wisconsin had a lot of injuries and a lot of COVID issues last year. So we really never got to see Wisconsin at full strength besides that first game, and they looked damn good. You gotta remember, the only thing I always held was back. It wasn't their O-line, it wasn't their defense, it wasn't their running backs, it was the quarterback play. They have a quarterback now with Mertz. I think that's how you say his name, with Mertz. I'm not gonna say it like that because I don't know the kid's full name like that. I want to say it's Grant Mertz or something like that. They have a quarterback now, and he's talented. He has a nice throwing motion, has a nice tight spot. The kid's good. He's accurate too. So in Penn State, I feel like this year Penn State's on rebound from last year. I think they're going to be a lot better football team. They got the talent. I am a little worried about Clifford, that quarterback has Clifford. I am a little bit skeptical on him, but it could be like an Ian Book thing, like Notre Dame, however he shows progression, he gets better, he makes better reads, and it could be like an Ian Book deal, like Notre Dame had with Ian Book. So I'm gonna go Wisconsin. I want to go Penn State, but I'm gonna go Wisconsin. I have a lot of belief in them. I think that they are a dark horse team this year. So what do you think, Dave?
Wisconsin all day. Personally, I'm not a believer in Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. Wisconsin all day.
Okay, so next we'll talk about let's go Miami and Alabama. Who you
Alabama. Alabama.
Okay.
I mean, dude, this is not Miami from back in the day, dog. This ain't the old Miami, man. This ain't McGahee at Miami. Nah, this is nah.
All right.
There's no shot in hell that Miami beats Bama.
I'm probably crucified for this, but I don't give a fuck, honestly. I really don't care. I don't think Miami's going to beat Alabama. But I do think for that first half of that football game, Miami will be giving Alabama a run for their money with the Eric King if he's playing. I'm pretty sure he is playing that first game. Here's why.
Okay.
Hear me out.
Let's hear it.
Hear me out. I'm going to get a lot in the comments about this from other fan bases. Alabama replaces Mac Jones with Bryce Young. Granted, Bryce Young was a 5-star quarterback out of Mater Dei, and Lincoln even wanted him real bad too, so that should tell you how good the kid is if Lincoln wants you the quarterbacks. He doesn't just offer quarterbacks and wants quarterbacks. He only offers you, he thinks there's a chance that you are a great quarterback and great decision maker. Again, the kid's a redshirt freshman. He's going to make freshman mistakes. So I can see you're not going to see that same offense, Bama fans, that you saw with Mac Jones, where, it's just going. It's just scoring touchdowns. You're not going to see that. I'm going to tell you why. You don't have Devontae Smith. You don't have Waddle anymore. Those guys are gone. You don't have Najee Harris anymore. That guy's gone. You don't have Mac Jones anymore. He's gone. And here's the thing. I get Alabama, they reload. Cool. I just don't. There's so much, and granted, they got talent. They got talent in the room. They got Bryce Young. They got Jason McClellan. They got Kamar Wheaton. They got Michi still, or what his name is. They got the talent, and their defense. I think their defense is about to be disgusting this year. I think their defense is going to be nasty this year. But you're going to see the offense show some struggles in Miami, and if Miami can take, you know, take that and run with it, I could see this game being a close ball game in the first half. And then once Nick Saban and all them get it, and what's that head coach from the Texans that took over as offensive coordinator now? What's his name? The one with the fucking chin.
Oh man, don't get me lying.
O'Brien.
He was Bama's offensive coordinator that took over the Texas head coaching job.
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big believer in him. So, yeah, I mean, I could see this game going to the wire in the first half, and then Alabama start pulling away in the second half. So I know a lot of Bama fans and SC fans that you don't know what you're talking about. Dude, they reload every year. Guys, there's some years, even Alabama's gonna have some missteps. It's Nick Saban, I know, but there's some years that some kids are just not ready at that point. So
yeah. Dude, nobody does next man up better than Bama.
Alabama, okay? I agree.
I'm just gonna say that right now. Nobody does next man up better than Bama. We've seen it for the last 10 years. Nobody does it better than them. Now, with their redshirt freshman quarterback, good thing about it is he's been in their system. Okay. Yep. So he should know the system. So it shouldn't be a lot of missteps with him. Now, it could be some, but not a lot. Now, let's look at Miami. Miami lost a lot of their big horses in this past draft. Mm-hmm. And I can guarantee you, Miami don't have 5 stars just sitting around everywhere. They don't have that. This is not the Miami of old, okay? This is a different Miami team. So that's why, I mean, personally, I think Bama is going to beat up on Miami.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion. And I'm not trying to be like an SEC homer or anything like that. Or I'm not trying to dick ride like, oh, it's Bama. I mean, look, we're just facing facts here.
Yeah, you gotta show Alabama that respect. They've earned it. I have no doubt Nick Saban and that program have earned that respect. So yeah, I can understand that. If someone wants to make that view, I don't know. I could see some missteps happening with that offense. Just how much they replace. And I think by mid-point of the year it'll be Bama again. They'll be fine. They'll be ready to go again by mid-year point. They'll run the SEC gauntlet and win it. So I mean, yeah, I agree. I can see that, but I honestly think Miami could end up getting them a run for their money in the first half. Next, let's talk about Indiana and Iowa. Who you got in that game?
Iowa.
Okay. I'm gonna go,
like the Hawkeyes.
I'm gonna go Indiana. I honestly feel like that coach has that team and that program believing. I feel like I know some people think Indiana was a fluke last year. I don't think they are. I think Indiana is a good football team. I honestly think that. And I think that the quarterback they have, Phoenix or whatever his name is, I think he's pretty damn good. And I think he's only going to progress after having a fall camp and having a summer camp or having summer workouts and having a spring camp. I think Indiana may win this game by 3. I got them winning by 3 or going in overtime and beating Iowa.
Very well could be. I just will have to. I mean, I gotta stay with Iowa. I gotta stay with Iowa on that one.
Last prediction game that's worth noting: Texas or Louisiana Lafayette, or is it Lafayette? Is that their name? I just call them Raging Canes. That's Lafayette. Louisiana Raging Canes.
Texas and
the Raging Canes. Hey, the Raging, they were good. Hey, they were respectful. They were ranked this year too, but they also only had like 1 or 2 losses last year.
Yeah. So with that game, I'm okay. So I'm definitely going to go with Texas, and here's why. Texas is much bigger than Louisiana Lafayette. Yeah. Now, I think it's going to be probably a really close game because new coaching staff, you have a new quarterback because Sam Ellinger.
They announced
to the what? Yeah, so he went to the NFL.
You know that they announced a new quarterback, right? They announced starter.
Who
already.
Is it?
Hudson Card. It's not Case Thompson's. It's not Case Thompson's. Hudson Card.
Yeah. So now you're coming in, new quarterback, new coaching staff. Texas is on a rebound. Okay. And even in the draft, they lost a lot of people on offense, on defense. Broncos was fortunate enough to pick up a few of their players over the past couple of years. So Texas is on the rebuild. Like I say, you got a new coaching staff and you have a new quarterback. I don't think Texas is just going to walk away with it, but there's something to say about a program that is as big as Texas going against a smaller program like a Louisiana Lafayette. Now, I'm not discounting them at all. I mean, we've seen some smaller schools whoop up on a big school. I think it's going to be close, but I think Texas is going to edge them out barely. But I'm sticking with Texas on that one.
I'm gonna go Texas. I agree with everything you just said. I think they're gonna barely get away with this one. The more I think about it, the more I am a Stark believer. I think that this is the best. I'm not saying he's gonna turn the program around because Texas and those boosters make it really hard to do that. But the more I think about it, and it's just the more I think this is the best coaching hire they've made since Mac Brown left. And he left. I think the boosters pushed him out. So
pushed him out.
Yeah, let's just be honest here. Boosters pushed him out, and it was the stupid decision they made. Because look what he's doing in North Carolina now. I'm going to say this is the best hire they made since then. I didn't agree. I didn't like the Charlie Strong hire. I didn't like the Tom Herman hire, but I could see it working out maybe. But I was right in the long run that it wouldn't work out. So I think the Stark hire is good. I think he's got a good coaching staff with him. And they still got some talent. They still got 5-star, 4-star kids. So I'm gonna go with Texas. I think they got to knock some rust off. They got to adjust to Stark and that coaching staff in the first game against a pretty good Louisiana Lafayette team. I'm going Texas. Give me them by 10. I think they kind of cuffing the score at the end. They kind of padding the score up a little bit at the end there. All right. So with that, this is our last topic after this. Let's talk about who do you think is going to be who's going to be your Final Four teams in the playoff, and who thinks going to win it? Preseason prediction.
Yeah, preseason prediction. Golly. I mean, you got to throw Bama in there.
You have to.
You got to throw Oklahoma in there. Sad to say this year, I'm excluding Clemson. I'm gonna throw in. Yeah, I again, we don't know what. So I remember Clemson back when Clemson had, back when CJ Spiller was there back in those days. I think back in the very early days of Dabo. Again, what is Dabo without Trevor Lawrence? I think he got lucky and he had a unicorn.
Yeah.
I think he's a good coach. I do. I do think he's a very good coach. But what is he without Trevor Lawrence? We don't know. Okay. So personally, I'm kind of excluding Clemson this year.
So you're not a Clemson believer?
No. That was more of a Trevor Lawrence thing. Without Trevor Lawrence in there, what would that program be?
Okay.
So I got to go Clemson. So I got to go Bama. I got to go Oklahoma. You cannot discount Ohio State because Ohio State has been turning it over for years now. So that's my 3. And
don't you dare say A&M. Don't you fucking do it.
Nah, I can't say A&M. Golly, who can be a good 4th?
Just say a Pac-12 team either. We just talked about this again. Don't say a Pac-12 team either.
I can't say a Pac. I mean, although I would love to see USC in there, I don't think USC is ready. I mean, dude, as much as we don't like A&M, I mean, A&M, I mean, they're ready.
I was gonna say
I mean,
this too.
A&M, they're ready.
I was gonna say this, and because I hate A&M more than I do Texas. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate Orange so damn much, but that fan base that the Aggies have is literally the most disgusting fan base I've ever came across on Twitter. They're the most delusional fan base besides this year. I will say that this year A&M, I think if they have that, they're starting the Haynes kid. I'm pretty sure. And if there's an Aggie fan here that watched the field, please let me know in the comments below. I'm pretty sure they're starting the Haynes kid. And from all accounts, he's a good quarterback. He was a highly recruited kid, I'm pretty sure, too, coming out of high school. I do believe A&M is a top 8 team this year. I will say that I do believe A&M is a top 8 team and have the potential to be a top 4 team. Now, that comes off the quarterback play. If this Haynes kid is as good as A&M fans are making it sound like, I'll believe the hype. But it's A&M, man. I don't know, man. It's A&M. I don't know. I don't know. It's because I hate them so much. I don't want to give them the credit. That could be a thing.
Probably.
But I can't deny that they're not a top. They are definitely a top 8 team. I can't deny it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say the kid that they're not that good. I gotta give them credit. They are a top 8 team this year, and I think their potential is a playoff team. So I could see that. I could see an A&M team. I could see Wisconsin.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what is your top 4, and then we'll leave it at that for the night.
All right, so my top 4, I'm gonna go Oklahoma. Once we get past fucking bullshit, angry Big 12 teams and Kansas State, if we can get past them, and actually go undefeated, OU, and not go fucking let it get to our head and finish games and play like we can, we will go undefeated and be the number 1 team in the nation. I do believe that. If we handle business. Second, I'm gonna go Georgia. I think Georgia ends up winning the SEC. I'm a believer in Georgia this year. I feel like if they can get by Clemson and get healthy after that, I could see Clemson. I could see Georgia. I think Georgia meets up with A&M in the SEC championship. I think A&M this year beats Alabama. I really do. I think they have the experience and the roster to do it. So I think it's gonna be an A&M and Georgia matchup in the SEC championship. I think Georgia wins the SEC. And my third team, I'm going to go Ohio State. I want to say Clemson, but I'm going to switch it up on because I think everybody's picking Clemson, Ohio State, OU, and Bam. I think everybody's picking the same Raiders. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go. I think the Big Ten team. I think Big Ten gets 2 in. I think Wisconsin could, if they win out pretty good and only lose to Ohio State, which I don't know if Wisconsin plays Ohio State this year. Do they play in the? I know they play each other in the Big Ten championship usually, but I don't know if they play this year against each other this year. Let me look at that real quick. Let me look at their schedule real quick and see. I don't think they play this year against each other. They don't. Wisconsin doesn't play Ohio State this year, so I'll see. I guarantee they meet up in the Big Ten championship though. Guarantee it. So yeah, I'm gonna go the Big Ten championship. It's gonna be Wisconsin, Ohio State. Ohio State wins it. It's a close game because I don't know if people remember back in 2019, Wisconsin was in the lead there for a little bit against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. So, and I think this Wisconsin team's a lot better than that 2019 Wisconsin team. And this Ohio State team's missed some pieces unlike that 2019 Ohio State team. So this Ohio State team this year. So I'm gonna go Wisconsin's 4th. Pac-12. I think the winner of the Pac-12 part be I'm gonna go USC. I know a lot of people are picking Oregon, but actually no, I'm not gonna do that. Washington. Well, I think Washington wins the Pac-12.
Washington.
I like what Washington has. I'm gonna go Washington. They win
Okay.
Pac-12. Big 12. I'm gonna go OU versus Iowa. We'll go Iowa State. I think Iowa State will be really good this year. I think that they're a top 10 team this year. I'm gonna go OU versus Iowa State. OU wins Big 12. Another nail biter. SEC. I said SEC. A&M versus Georgia. Georgia wins. Big 10. Like I said, Ohio State, Wisconsin. Ohio State wins. And then after that, it's really just a bunch of other bullshit conferences. I mean, American's respectful, but I don't do enough research on American to really make a prediction on that. We'll see how it plays out by watching games this year. Yeah, that's all. That's all my conference champs. Who do you think's got your conference? So let's go and throw in conference predictions.
All right. So out of the Big Ten, I mean, like you either got to go with Ohio State or Wisconsin. Pac, man, you know me, I'm a USC fan. I think USC is just they're very very close around in that corner. Definitely out of the SEC, Bama, ACC. Dude, I'm gonna throw a wrench in that one. Again, I'm not a Clemson believer, so I think it could come down to like a North Carolina. I mean, dude, Sam Howell is. I mean, that dude is balling. He's legit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then out of the Big 12, Oklahoma, of course, and then all the other conferences don't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. Sorry to anyone else. So you don't think there's a chance that we didn't even touch on Notre Dame because they're independent. You don't think there's a chance Notre Dame may sneak back in again?
Dude, I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I'm not, dude. We see this every fucking year, bro. Every year. Dude, Notre Dame makes it to the playoffs and they get slacked every season. Dude, I told somebody this last year. I was like, after they made it to the playoffs last year and they got fucking destroyed, I never want to hear Notre Dame being mentioned in anything. Notre Dame, I think everybody needs to face it. What Notre Dame is, they're close, but not there. I think that's going to be their shtick. They're close, but they're not going to be there.
OU has the same reputation. Like we have the same reputation as that. But I think this year OU has that.
Oklahoma will be there. Oklahoma has been there. And Notre Dame has been there. But Notre Dame's just not going to do it. I don't want to hear about it.
I think this year OU turns the corner with all the talent they ever turns, the guys that have developed. I think OU turns the corner this year. But I do think OU and Notre Dame are in the same category when it comes to that. And that's coming from an OU fan. So, yeah. Notre Dame, I mean, I don't. They had that one. I want to say that the other quarterback that was at Wisconsin that transferred that wasn't very good. He transferred to Notre Dame and he wasn't very good, but he's named the starter I think at Notre Dame. And they got that safety that Kyle Hamilton kid, whatever like his name is. I think he's good. Or is that Penn State? Is that him? Yeah, that's him. He's at Notre Dame. Yeah. So I think their defense is legit, but that means shit if you can't get the ball past the 50-yard line. Which I don't think Notre Dame will be able to do that this year. So, yeah, I think Notre Dame ends up being a top 15 team, but I don't see them being top.
Notre Dame.
You always, even when we did a preview on the playoffs before, even when Notre Dame beat Clemson, you still weren't sold on them.
Fuck Notre Dame. Nah, I'm good on that.
You feel how I feel about you feel like Notre Dame, how I feel about A&M. But with A&M, though, because they are that good this year. So, yeah, guys. Right. If you like the video, guys, please like subscribe. I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Me and David, I told David I was gonna try to cover all this preseason talk right before the season starts because I didn't want to do it too early where we're in summer and we're making predictions about knowing who's started at quarterback, who's out, who's in, who's injured, who makes it out of fall camp. Because honestly, you can't really make these predictions until you get out of fall camp and know who survived it injury free, which is very hard to do nowadays. So I wanted to try to get this video with David in right before the season start. I wouldn't say this would be if David wants to, we can make this a weekly thing when football season starts out, but his schedule depends on how his schedule works out because he is a busy man. And we both have things we got to do outside of this content stuff. But David's up to you eventually. If we want, and if we can, try to make this like a weekly thing on Sundays, and if we can recap college and NFL. Because right now it's really not much talk about the NFL's preseason. I mean, I don't really pay attention to preseason. It's bullshit. So yeah,
Yeah, let's really play it by ear. You
Good.
know, it's it's not that I don't like doing any of this. I enjoy talking sports and I like talking football. It's just my schedule
I know.
is I work a lot of hours. I'm just gonna be honest. So I don't. And then when I'm not at work, you know, I do have a family, and I need to give them my undivided attention when I'm not at work. So um, this next coming up week, we'll just play it by ear. You know, hopefully y'all have me back, and I'll be ready to talk football.
DMs about the last video we did, asking if we are gonna do another one. And I kind of basically what you said, like, well, hey, David has a family. He's got a new career path right now, where he's making good money and works a lot of hours, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. His son's an athlete. His son plays sports right now, and he's really into that, and doing pretty well in that right now too. So it's kind of hard right now. We got to play stuff by ear. So um, who knows? I mean, I guarantee you, I almost guarantee you we'll do another one of these, but I just don't know when. It'll be by ear,
Yeah, for sure.
and hopefully, if we can, try to get my brother Jared in here one day, one of these days. Bring him as a special guest with us one day, and in one of these Zoom calls and the live stream, and try to get him in and get his perspective on. Actually, we could do this. When we're in Norman the 30th of October. Me and Jared and all of us going to OU game, Texas Tech. May do a pod with Dave if David's available on a Friday night or something. Which I mean, he works, but I mean, if he's available, we could do a podcast live with me and Georgie and Norman and David, and just go from there and make a prediction on the game before. That could be an idea. Just throwing up ideas out there for you guys. It really just play it by ear, like you said. David, you got anything you want to say before we log off here?
Nah, man, it was fun as always. Like I say, I hope y'all have me back. Um, and like I say, we'll just play everything by ear.
All right, guys, like always, if you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. Put the notifications on if you want to know next time I post. I probably won't make another video probably till about Friday, make a preview on the Tulane game, even though we kind of already did that on this video. But I'll make my own more in-depth predictions with positioning groups and who I think will be starting, who you'll see on that D-line, that defense. Yeah. So as always, guys, if you like the video, please like. We'll talk to you later, guys. Peace.